Hello guys, welcome back to The Tough Puff. Today we're going to do a deck profile on a Giratina Vileplume deck, both from the new Ancient Origins. But before we start, I just want to give you an update. First of all, thank you so much to all my subscribers. I know I only have like 45 or something, and it's only been 2 weeks, but I appreciate all my subscribers. Thank you so much. Second is, we're still working on an intro video and a new avatar, so that's on the way. And third is, after Worlds, I will be joined by 2 other people on this channel, potentially 3. But one of them, 2 of them are actually in pure Pokemon off-season mode, and the third is actually at going to Worlds, so he's been prepping for Worlds. So good luck to him. His name is Daniel Altavia. So good luck to him. So we're gonna start with the deck profile. So this is a Giratina Vileplume deck, and when everyone knew that Vileplume was gonna be played, as a really good ability, and when I saw it in Giratina, I was really intrigued by his attack effect, but I didn't really know how to build that deck. So I went online, straight up net decked a skeleton kind of, and played with it. I liked it, but it wasn't very consistent when I was playing with it on PTTGO. So I took some stuff out, put some stuff in, but I had no help besides that skeleton. Like I said, the 3 people I usually talk with and deck build with are busy. I'm not going to World, so I'm not going to bother Daniel with how to build a deck for next format. Okay, so we're going to start. So the main purpose of this deck is to put your opponent into a lock. So in turn 1, what you gotta do is try to get Vileplume out as soon as possible. That's why we run a 3-3-3 Vileplume line. A Vileplume's ability is irritating pollen, and pretty much both players can play item cards from their hands. And in order to get this out turn 1, we run 4 forests of giant plants, and what this does is each player's grass Pokemon can evolve during his or her first turn, or the turn they play it. So you could put down Oddish, then Gloom, then Vileplume right away if it's in your hand. So that's the pretty much turn 1. That's priority. Get Vileplume out and do the item lock. And the second part of the lock kind of is your main attacker, pretty much your only attacker in this deck, honestly, is Giratina EX. So Giratina EX for a grass, a psychic, and 2 colorless energies. He does Chaos Wheels, and Chaos Wheel is it does 100 damage, and your opponent can't play any Pokemon Tool, Special Energy, or Stadium cards. So if you have Vileplume active and you attack with Giratina, they can't play item cards, they can't play Stadium cards, and they can't play Special Energies. Rex Vexaqueen, Rex Raichu, because they need double colorless energy most of the time to attack. So that's the lock. Vileplume out, this guy out attacking. And the support Pokemon to get that set up, we have 4 unknowns. You gotta realize that since Vileplume's gonna be out, you can't use item cards that much, so you need as much draw support as you can. And unknown, if he's on your bench, you can discard him and draw a card and don't give a prize. So a lot of times, if I have a Sycamore in my hand, and I know my Sycamore to hand away, I could just use all my level balls, get unknown from the bench, Sycamore away, and then use the unknown later to draw more cards, because you're for turn 1 you're gonna be digging to get the forest, the Oddish, the Gloom, the Vileplume. You need that set up for turn 1. Next we play 2 Shamans just for Ultra Balling and drawing to dig. We play 1 Miltank. 1 Miltank for 1 energy to Powerful Friends for 10 damage, but if to the stage 2, which Vileplume is, it could do 80 damage. Now this card honestly is on the chopping block. I love Miltank. Miltank has a special place in my heart because my first deck I ever made was the Greninja Miltank deck. So I love Miltank, but like starting with him, like kinda like sucks because you can't play Switch. If your deck goes well and you get Vileplume out, you can't play Switch. So I'd rather have a higher chance to start with like a Giratina than Miltank. Rarely do I use Powerful Friends. I just live or die with Chaos Wheel. So this is on the chopping block for sure. And next card is also on a chopping block is Hydreigon EX. Hydreigon EX, his effect is Dragon Road, and all your Dragon Pokemon, their retreat cost goes down by 2. If Giratina retreat cost was 2 colorless, two colorless energy, this would be awesome. But Giratina is 3 already. And the way you power up Giratina in this deck is you use 1 double dragon and 1 double colorless. So his retreat cost is still 1 energy. So you got to discard one of those 2 energies, which is like very valuable to discard, So I'm not sure about Hydreigon EX. I mean, Shred is a decent attack. What's funny is the more I started playing this deck the more I started running to Pyroar online, and nothing in the deck can attack Pyroar except Hydreigon. And if you take your sweet time and power up a Vileplume, which Pyroar will one-hit KO anyways. So Hydreigon on the chopping block, I'm not sure, but he's safer than Miltank for sure. Okay, we run a very, very thick supporter line because, like I said, if everything goes well, Vileplume cuts off all items for both of us. So we run 4 Sycamore, 4 Shauna, 2 Birches, and a Tierno. I like the idea of having Tierno in your deck because you just draw 3, don't got to discard your whole hand. Remember, with Vileplume out, you can't use VS Seeker, so you don't want to discard our supporters early game. So Tierno is decent, but I might cut it out for I'll show you later. I'll show you in a bit right now. Run 2 Lysanders, yeah, Lysander, and 2 AZ. I might cut the Tierno out for a 3rd AZ because AZ is very important in this deck. Why is it important? Because there's many times your active Pokemon is an Oddish or a Vileplume. Vileplume has 3 retreat costs, which is I have decked out from someone Lysandering up a Vileplume and waiting late game, and I can't retreat it because the only way you can retreat it is AZ. You can't use a switch because Vileplume blocks switch. So I think a 3rd AZ is very, very critical. And even early game when you're trying to dig, you could AZ up a Shaman and you read the Shaman. That's not a bad play either, depending on the situation. Okay, items. We don't play that much items because we can't use items for majority of the match. So we just play a bunch of digging cards. We do 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Level Ball, 3 Chainer's Mail. Ultra Ball gets any Pokemon you want in the deck. Also helps Shaman out. Level Ball gets Oddish and Gloom out real quick, and Trainer's Mail is to reach and get the ball. Supporters, you could reach and get the Forest because you need Forest or Giant Plants. So that's the item lineup. Not too big. I probably won't switch anything. Maybe add 1 switch for early game. If you have a bad starter, you could like switch before you go into Vileplume. That'll be okay, but probably not because with 1 switch, that's not consistent. Like how often would you get that first turn? And probably mid to late game, it's a dead card. So you don't even want to run switch. AZ is better. Also with AZ is you could pick up the whole Vileplume line, then play your item cards, and then put the Vileplume line back down. And for energy, 4 double dragons, 4 double colorless. You might think this is like super enhanced hammer target, but if Vileplume is active, can't use hammer. And then we play 2 grass and 1 sidekick. This is kind of for like Miltank. If you're gonna manually charge up a Giratina or a Hydreigon, you could use these 2. Honestly, I'll probably cut one of these down and cut the Tierno, you know. But yeah, it's just I'm trying to find the most consistent way. It's okay right now. I say about 60% of the time I get Vileplume turn 1, and about 85 I'll have it by turn 2. But this deck is really fun to play with. It's like a really big troll deck. It's probably the biggest troll deck besides the new Shiftry deck that's gonna be expanded. I think it's really fun. My playstyle is either doing a control deck or a quick hitter. So like a Toad deck or a Raichu deck is what I like playing. So this is a really fun deck. Is it super competitive? I don't know. I was talking to some of my friends, and they say it's going to be the best deck in format. Some people just brush it off. I like it a lot. If it was just a little bit more consistent, I'll probably be playing this deck. But for now, I'm just going to play for fun, tweak it as I need. And thank you very much for watching.